Four major changes have been implemented on the 14th of October 2024 by the UK immigration system. And this is a very important update. If you are in the UK, whether you're on a skilled worker visa, student visa, dependent visa, whatever visa you are on, this is very important and very key. And remember, we've been updating on this platform all the changes as and when they come. And I've been reassuring people that I'm going to always be updating and being on top of these changes because they are of interest to me, because I'm on a skilled worker visa and it's one of those most contagious visas at the moment in the country, and we all know it has come to an end. So some of these changes that were implemented do affect us and they're very key. And I'll be going to be sharing all these changes in this video, each one of them. And I'll also share a bit of insight into how it is going to affect most migrants that are in the UK and even those that are planning on coming to the UK. And key note and tech note, one of the changes is affecting even the visitor's visa to the UK. So it's worth really watching until the end as we're going to be unpacking. And also, as usual and as per tradition on this platform, we always give tips at the end of the day, our insight and what we believe the focus should be on, so that we prepare together. We are here to walk the journey together and not leave anybody behind, because one of the things that I've realized is if you are an immigrant in the UK at the moment, you need a support system, and we are building that community where we support one another, navigate all these changes until the very end. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. So the first change that has been implemented is the fact that if you are a Botswana national, you are now going to require a visa for you to visit the UK. Before this implementation, it has always been a visa-free country. If you were a Botswana national, you could visit the UK with no visa at all, with no visa requirement. It was just a case of getting on that, getting your ticket and flying to the UK, but that has changed. And this is part and parcel of the wide networking crackdown on visa route abuse. You've been probably found unwanting and being caught on the wrong side of it, like people would abuse their visitor visa, which was visa free. So from now onwards, if you're a Botswana national, you're going to require a visa to visit the UK. And this is looking into expanding this or extending it to other countries which have been visa free, visiting the UK. I'm changing everywhere in the UK in terms of immigration. They are wanting to cut down on numbers. They are also wanting to cut down on people coming to the country illegally, or people transitioning from visas such as like visitor's visa, then becoming either asylum seekers or just become missing in action. So this is part and parcel of the wider crackdown by the immigration system in the country. The second one, which is effective from the 8th of January 2026, is the English test requirement. This is to be raised up to A-level standard if one is coming to work or on an academic route to the UK or an innovator route to the UK. The second one, which is an English requirement upgrade up to A-level standard if one is coming on a skilled worker or for economic migration purposes, they need a higher level of English. I talked about this in our previous videos where we have talked about the immigration system in the country really pinpointing part and parcel of what they term integration, or being able to integrate, is based on language, your skill level, your ability to speak and understand the language and communicate proficiently in the language, and it's coming into effect. So economic migration is whereby you're coming to work in the country, probably regardless of what work you do, you're going to have to be required to have a high level of English, and it's a fact, it's coming. They're cutting down the numbers. They cannot entirely close off some of these routes, but they're being intentional about who they want to let into the country. And part and parcel of their screening process, as we are now finding out from the 8th of November 2026, if you're coming to the UK to work, you need to meet the eligibility criteria for an A-level of English. This is probably, I would equate it to about like band 7 if you're doing your IELTS or PTE or ACTIS. So you would need a high level of English. So if you are planning on relocating to the UK to work, then start working on your English. And we know some would wonder what was the requirement previously. I know when we came on the skilled worker visa, the requirement was if you had even F4, you could relocate. That was the bare minimum. That was the basic minimum that they wanted. So if you are making plans to relocate to the UK to work in the UK, start practicing on your English, start really working on your English, because part and parcel of what shall grant you a visa is the fact that you've got English proficiency, which is at an A-level equivalent. Third change, this one is for those who are on a student visa or who are planning on coming on a student worker visa. From the 28th of November 2025, there will be changes. If one is to move from a student visa or graduates to a high potential innovator visa / or global potential visa, then they will have to bear in mind that they will put into consideration certain universities that you are attending, your qualifications, what course you are in. It's not entirely every course or every qualification that will be eligible for this HPI or Global Talent Visa. Also, they will factor in the duration of the course that you are doing. So bear in mind, if you are planning to come and study, or if you're already on a study route and you are eyeing the high potential innovator visa, then you have to take note of all the changes so that you know you are correct thing, or so that you know you correct thing, and also so that you can explore other options in the event that you don't fit in the criteria where you just transition into an innovator visa. Then you'll begin to weigh in and plan for your exit plan, or you can plan for your plan B, or you can plan for what else you can do or what other destinations will suit your studying. So these are very, very key changes that are coming into effect, and please take note of the dates so that you won't panic, so that you have time to plan. You still have time to transition. If you've just finished, you still have time until the 25th of November 2025. The fourth and last implementation that has come into effect is that from the 11th of November, all the other core immigration rules are being rewritten and will be implemented. Why this is so, I've mentioned it in this video, is the fact that we all know the government mentioned its intent on moving the indefinite leave to remain from 5-year to 10-year route, and we are all waiting. Part and parcel of what the Home Secretary mentioned was the fact that they're going into consultations with key stakeholders and what they can do, who is going to be affected, going over all the changes that they want to bring into effect without a big impact. So we are anticipating that hopefully by November they would have come up with something. It's not nice, really, this anxious. I mean, I'm one of who will be affected. I'm in my 4th year now, so I'm interested, want to know, at least like it settles my mind now whether or not I will stay on the 5-year route or on the 10-year route. So hopefully in November they'll say something about that. However, there are so many other things at play, and around this indefinite leave to remain, so many changes have been mentioned. London has said something to the effect, and other voices have added on to all of this, which really are a major to weigh key things, to really for the government to reconsider if they're going to touch on moving from the 5-year route to the 10-year route and the eligibility criteria. But we can only speculate. Other than that, we can only wait until November when they do implement these changes. Now the question is, what does this mean, especially for those that are already in the UK, fellow migrants like myself? Now isn't the time to relax. The fact remains, the UK is pivoting towards high value, high skilled, very English proficient professionals and skills people coming country. They are looking into finding people that can integrate quickly and also add value to the society and the community at large. So what does that mean for you and me? Now is not the time for you to be dilly-dallying and just waiting on the sidelines. It's the time to take action, time to really keep on top of your visa. A lot of people are leaving it until the last minute. Keep on top of your either renewal or switching to another visa, avoiding employment gaps. Some people are going for months, if not a very long period, without employment. That can affect your status in the country. That can affect your next renewal or your next application. So it's the time to keep on top of some of these things. Also, if you're already in the UK, whether as a student, as a dependent or as a skilled, it's the time for upgrading, upskilling, get a UK qualification. You never know when you may need it. You may need it to leverage on your, value that can save you. Also, you can leverage on that UK experience and UK qualification for you to move to other countries, because a lot of countries are opening. I know Canada is opening on next year, 2026 already. There are projections of the numbers that they need, but they need highly qualified people. And I know Australia is still open, New Zealand is calling, other countries are calling, but you cannot just get into those countries when you don't have the qualification. So it's the time to take advantage of all the experience that we've had in the country. Add on top of that a qualification in the country. That's an icing on the top, and you could be good to go. And some people are still asking, will I be affected? The answer, definitely, if you're a migrant, yes, you will be affected. One way or the other, you will be affected. Dependent or main applicant, you will be affected. Skilled worker or student visa, you will be affected. But affected does not mean rejected. What is it that you need to do? You need to stay informed, stay proactive, and stay looking for opportunities. One way or the other, it still remains a land of opportunities. Opportunities are still out there, but they are for those that are willing to grab, willing to look for them, willing to add value to what they already have and leverage on that to really access the opportunities. So it's time for us to be doing something, and part and parcel of doing something as well is staying informed. And on this platform, we're invested into making these videos, giving out information, insights, and what we think, because we live this journey, we are walking this journey. And if you don't want to miss out on any of these videos, do subscribe if you've done so, thank you so much for being part of this relocation tribe. We continue to give each other information, the tips as and when we can. Here is my projection for the future. I believe the UK immigration system is preparing itself for a more selective migration system, one that is focused on value addition, integration, and high level skills. So don't be left out. You need to evolve. Just do not panic yet. So what is it that you can do in the meantime is to upgrade, upskill, get those qualifications, get those certificates, because where we are going and how this immigration system is evolving is it will definitely screen those who remain static, those who don't want to move with the times, and those that are not consistent will be found wanting, will be left out, will just be putted out by the system. From the way the system is transforming, it's there to suit a certain criteria, a certain group of people. And what I can say, or what I can just do is make sure you fit into that criteria. Which criteria are we talking about? We're talking about that criteria where you've got a high skill level of English, where your English proficiency skills are so high. And for those of you that could be wondering, I just did my IELTS test recently and I got a band 8. It's actually doable. Whether or not this will also evolve how the Life in England test, the English test that people write for when they want to do their indefinite leave to remain, we don't know whether they will overhaul that or not. It hasn't been mentioned yet, but English is the key of all the things that they're doing. Also, skills level. If you've been in the country for 3 years or more, it's time for introspection. It's time for you to look at yourself, look at what you can do, look at the pathway that you want to, involve yourself with. Look at your passion lies and start engaging in a skill. And by skill or qualification, not everyone is going to graduate, university graduate. Not everyone should degree. I've been making videos on education pathways, qualification pathways, upgrade pathways, other than just having a degree, because there's so many complications around studying full-time if you're on a skilled worker visa. But if you are a dependent, now is the time for you to really think about enrolling into a course, upgrading and upskilling, because the immigration system that is coming is not going to be as lenient and evolving. It's not going to be one that will pose. It's going to be so robust, so thorough, and very highly selective. And I know it's becoming so exhausting, because now we know every month there's always a set of changes in terms of immigration rules that comes, and that can be so draining. I'm drained as well. I'm exhausted by it. But remember, each and every generation of migrants has faced its fair share of changes. I have had the privilege to talk to people that came 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They have seen these things. They've been through all the hassle and bustle of immigration policy changes. So this generation, this S generation, this care worker visa generation isn't spared at all. We just have to endure our own fair share, do what we need to do. However, there's one trend that seems to favor that are willing to change with the times. Those have gone on to become more stable and more successful long term. Those are the very people that we see are in high value professions, people that are high up there in the corporate world, people that are running their own businesses. They are the very same migrants that were in the same situation like ourselves. They faced all these immigration changes, but the only difference was in the choices that they made. Why am I talking about choices? I'm talking about choices because a lot of people are now thinking, oh, I don't think the UK is for me, or I think this is not time for me to go home. What I can tell you is reevaluate your goals, recheck your priorities, and see if you can do something about it while you're still here. I still find this country to be still an option. If you're already in the country, there are still things that you can do. It's not all gloom at the end of the day. It's not doom and gloom all the way. There are things that we can do before 2028, when they will implement all these things, or when they will stop all these visas and a lot of things. Part and parcel of that is upskilling, getting a qualification. I can never stop emphasizing on this. We know we didn't come this far to be frozen. We came here so that same fear should fuel our resolve. We came here to grow, thrive, adapt, and succeed so many different, succeed in our current roles, succeed in building a future that we want for our children, succeed in probably building a future that we want back home. So until we achieve that, we'll still soldier on. So use that fear, use these changes to really fuel your passion, fuel your priorities, fuel your goals, fuel your intention to build self. Explore all the options. Just don't let fear freeze you. You should just keep going. So I would like to hear from you how you're handling these changes, how you feel about all these changes that are coming, how you're preparing, where are you in the comments, and I'll do follow-up videos answering questions. And I also promise you I'm going to be making videos on what I think about the indefinite leave to remain and also other opportunities that are coming up, because on this platform we do about life in the diaspora, life abroad, and we are consistently exploring opportunities and options. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and also put your notification bell on so that you don't miss out on any of the informative opportunities videos that we share on this platform. And also be a part of the community that we are building, a community that continues to support each other amidst all this exhausting in terms of those. That's what we do on this platform. That's all I had for you in this video, and I'll see you in my next video. And if you haven't subscribed thus far, please do subscribe, and thank you. Bye for now.